everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I am doing the tier ranking of thriller books. I've seen these videos, they were super popular just a month or so ago, and I am finally getting around to do one of mine. I'm doing thrillers today and I want to do romance in a couple weeks, and I'm very excited. I have a feeling that this is going to be very hard because I went ahead and downloaded images of like all of the books, all of the thriller books that I've read, and there are so many. Like, I don't even know how we're going to do all of this. So I guess we're gonna start at the first one, and let me tell you about my actual like little layers that I put. So number one, I put my favorites because I just wanted to kind of keep it broad. Like, favorites definitely means that a book that is like stuck with me for a while, or is a 5-star read, or is honestly one of my favorites, and I'll probably explain that to you when we go through the books. Solid just means that like it was probably like a 4-star or so. Like, the story wasn't bad, it was good, you know, I'm glad that I read it. Then we have good but wanted more. There's definitely books that I have read, specifically definitely thrillers, where I've read the book and I've just been like, that's it, like that's all you're giving us. Then the next one I have kind of boring, nothing new. Now that's definitely a lot of thrillers that I read. I feel like they'll have a lot of the same, you know, just boring things that are happening, nothing new is happening. Then we have confusing / don't remember. So there's definitely a couple thriller books that I've read that were like confusing to me, or maybe I just didn't understand, or also I don't remember. There's definitely those. When I was going through my list, I was like, I don't even remember what these were about or what I liked or disliked about them, because they were like 3 or 4 years old. Then we have overhyped, which of course there's definitely those thrillers that are overhyped in my opinion. So obviously all of this stuff is just my opinion. And then we have just bad, like terrible, absolutely not. And then we have DNF. So I'm not sure, I don't think I had any of these on a DNF. I'm pretty sure all the ones that I'm showing are ones that I've read, but I decided to put it on there anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and start. We've got Stephen King's Misery. So I'm going to put this into, ooh, this is actually really hard. We're gonna put it into good but wanted more, because I think I ended up rating this like 3.5 stars or something like that, and it was creepy. Like, I did love the creepiness of it, but it wasn't creepy the whole way through. Like, there were definitely some boring parts in it. So it was like, oh, I just wanted, it would have been better, I think, as a short story. It would have been perfect, and then I probably would have rated it higher. But definitely, like, the creep factor in that one is pretty good. Then we have Blake Crouch's Pines. And this one also I'm putting at good but wanted more. I am a big fan of Blake Crouch because I read some of his other books, and I read this one because it's like a dystopian type of thriller about how he like wakes up and he's in this like new village or something like that, and he like can't get out. Like, there's absolutely no way that he can get out. And so I do like things like that, but again, I feel like there were some boring parts in it, and it just left me like, I just wanted more from it. Okay, then we have Reconstructing Amelia. This is by Kimberly Mccreed. This was kind of boring, nothing new. It was kind of just like a regular crime thriller. I think I rated it just 3 stars, and it was supposed to be this like really cool mystery about like a mother-daughter relationship, but honestly, it was not that good in my opinion. Then we have Close My Eyes by Sophia Mackenzie, I think. This one was one of my favorites. I love this one. I read it a couple years ago, but it is one of my favorite like domestic thrillers, and I feel like it's very underhyped. Like, I hardly hear anybody reading it or talking about it. I think I picked it up like on a whim when I first started getting into reading, and this one totally blew my mind. Like, the ending, did not see coming. It does deal with like kind of like pregnancy loss or something like that. So, hello? Oh, hi. Good, how are you? Okay, sorry, that was the caseworker for foster care calling me. So, where were we? Close My Eyes by Sophia Mackenzie. I think that's what I was talking about. Domestic thriller, does have like some type of like pregnancy, infant loss in it, so trigger warning for that. But it's about this lady who thought that she lost her baby. Someone tells her that her child is still alive. So I love those types of thrillers, so I really, really loved it. Okay, next up is The Third Twin. This one was, I feel like I want to put it in good, but wanted more, because like it was good. I ended up rating it lower though because of the fact that the ending didn't turn out how I wanted it to be. I thought the ending was just really, really stupid. And so this is about these two twin girls that have this like imaginary third sister, and they start blaming everything on this third sister. So anyway, it was really creepy, but it just didn't end the way that I wanted it to. You guys should know that I hate horror books that say that they're horror, but then they're not. Next up is Mudvayne. This is by Taryn Fisher, and I'm gonna put confusing, don't remember, because it was very confusing. Like I remember being intrigued by it in the beginning because of, it was about this like male and female, I think, that woke up and they were like locked in this like room together or house together or something like that. But then it became like very poetic, and I don't know, it was just weird. Like it was weird. Okay, so confusing, yeah. Next up, Bird Box. One of my all-time favorites ever. Love that book so much. That actually, this is a horror book. Like this is a horror book. It acts like a horror book. It's so good. If you've seen the movie on Netflix, I still think that you should read the book because the book is just absolutely amazing. I mean, it's just terrifying. It literally is one of the scariest books I've read and one of the best books I've read. I love it so much. Okay, next up is a horror graphic novel that I recently read, Through the Woods, and this is going to be confusing because I love the pictures. The pictures were absolutely beautiful, but like at the end of every story, there were 5 different short stories in it. Like I had no clue what happened. Like I had no clue what the story was even about. So, all right, next up, I'm gonna put Good Girl. This is by Mary Kubica. I think it's the only book that I've read by her. But anyway, this one was pretty solid. I think I gave it like 4 stars. And this is about a girl that gets kidnapped and has to live with her kidnapper. And you know, like there's a syndrome, I forget what it's called, but like the syndrome where like you start falling in love with your kidnapper. That is in this, and like I thought it was really, really good. Okay, next up is Gone Girl. I'm gonna put this as solid because I remember the first half being extremely slow and boring, and then the second half was amazing. So we're gonna put that in solid. You guys probably already know what Gone Girl is. The movie is real good too, so you should definitely watch the movie. Big Little Lies is next. This is going into my favorites because I love it. It's a 5-star read. It was just, I just loved it so much. I loved the characters. I didn't guess the ending. I thought it was very thrilling, but also like the story was just really great. It's very good. Next up is The Girl in 6E. This is going in just bad. Like it was bad. It's a thriller about this like sex camera girl. And I mean, like, that was intriguing, but it was so unrealistic. Like, it was just so unrealistic. This girl that she locks herself up in her apartment because she wants to just murder people. And then she goes on to, like, solve a mystery. I'm like, what? Like, weird. Sorry if you can hear the lawnmower, but we gotta keep going. Okay, The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. This one is definitely overhyped in my opinion. Like it was just okay. I don't even really remember much about it other than like people told me about how amazing it was, and then when I read it I was like, that was it? Like what? I think it's following 3 different people. I really don't even remember what it's about. I'm sorry. Okay, Girl on the Train. This one is solid. I think I rated it 5 stars back in the day, but I'm putting it down to solid just because I don't think I would love it as much if I read it now. I do remember liking it way more than the movie, but it definitely is one of those like amnesia type thrillers. So if you don't like that, then you probably shouldn't read it. Next we have Where They Found Her by Kimberly Mccreed. This one is very good. I don't think it's my like all-time favorite, so I'm gonna put it in solid, even though I did rate it 5 stars. This is about a dead baby that gets found, and how like this, I think she's a journalist, how she has to kind of like solve the story, and it was kind of mind-blowing at the end. It was very good. Even though I usually don't like crime thrillers, this was definitely a good crime thriller. Next up we have All the Missing Girls. This is just bad, like so bad it could have been a DNF. This book is told backwards, so confusing, like one of the worst thrillers I've ever read. I do not recommend you reading it. Next up is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. Love that book. 5 stars. One of the darkest, scariest, like, oh my gosh, I totally want to reread this book, because I think I'm gonna wait a couple more years, because I usually don't reread and I want to make sure I don't remember anything about it. But like, I remember it just being absolutely amazing. And oh my gosh, it's just so good. Like, it is kind of a crime thriller, but not like too much into the crime type of aspect, but like it was so dark and disturbing. It has tons of trigger warnings, so just make sure you look those up before you read it, but it's so good. Okay, next up is The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn. Love this one. It is a short story. It has horror vibes, but it also has an ambiguous ending. So if you don't like those, I think it's only like 69 pages or something like that. So easy to fly through, so good. Okay, next up is I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I'm gonna put this as confusing, because I know a lot of people love this book. I thought it was really scary. It was definitely scary. But it was confusing. Like, I have no clue what was going on. And then when you finished it, you had to like look up all of these, what are those called? Like kind of like inside scoop type of things, where like people tell you like their theories about it, or you have to read theories about it. Anyway, it was just not for me, because I ended up ending the book, and then all the theories were about like this like thing that I was just like, what? How? That's what happens? Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. I hear that you have to read it a second time after you know those theories, and then it makes sense, but for me, that's too much work. Okay, next up is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Love that book, all-time favorite. Like, it could not have gotten any better. I remember being so thrilled. I read it in one sitting. It was so incredibly good, and it's like a time travel alternate reality thing that makes you think so hard at the end. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Okay, next up is The Girl Before. This is by J.P. Delaney. This one was like, it was okay. I'm gonna put good, but wanted more. It was fine. It was about this smart house and like a murder that happens in the smart house. It's pretty much all I remember. Okay, The Woman in Cabin 10. I'm gonna put this as solid. I remember rating it 5 stars, but I don't remember much about it now. And to be honest, I don't even really like Ruth Ware. That's like the only book I've read of hers that I liked. So yeah, we're just gonna leave that in solid, because I liked it when I first read it. Next up is The Couple Next Door. Now, I rated this 5 stars. I remember really liking it. I still don't think I'm gonna put it in like my favorites though, because my favorites are kind of like my favorites. This was a good domestic thriller. I do like domestic thrillers, and I did read this when I first got into reading, so a lot of thrillers like were kind of new to me. And I think this is about a couple that their baby gets stolen from them, and I don't even remember how it ends, but I did remember really liking it. Next up is Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. I'm also gonna rate this as solid. I did give it 5 stars when I read it before. I don't remember much about what the story was about. I just remember the ending, and how the ending was mind-blowing, and I know some people hate the ending, but I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it in solid, just because I remember liking it a lot. Next up is The River at Night. This is just bad. It's so bad, I almost DNF'd it. This was supposed to be a super thrilling read about these people that go on the river, and like some people die, some people get lost. It's about this like group of, I think it's a group of women that are like taking a girls trip or something. Well, anyway, all of that happens, and then like something very random comes out of like the woodwork. I don't know, it was weird. It was definitely a weird book. I just didn't like it. It wasn't for me. Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris, that is in my all-time favorites. I love that book. One of the first thrillers I've ever read. Sat and binged it like all day in one day. It was the hours of the night, and I just remember I loved it so much. A domestic thriller, like you guys probably can see, like I love domestic thrillers, and that one was a really, really good one and super scary. Like it legitimately scared me because I could see this happening in real life. Next up, Too Late by Colleen Hoover. I'm also putting this in my favorites. To me, this is definitely underhyped. I thought I wasn't going to like it because I've heard like no one likes it, but I loved it. It was like the perfect thriller romance. It definitely has a lot of trigger warnings in it, so just be careful before you read it, but I loved it a lot. I thought it was very thrilling. Okay, next up is The Butterfly Garden by Hutchinson, and this one I'm gonna put into kind of boring, nothing new. It was boring to me. I had a really hard time reading it because of the writing style, and I know it is like really dark, but for some reason like the writing style just like didn't work for me, and I just remember being like super bored. Like there were dark parts, but then there were so many boring parts, so I'm gonna put that in there. Next up is the Roanoke Girls. That's going in my favorites. Super dark, definitely very inappropriate. Loved it so much. If you like books that are like cultish, then you should definitely pick that one. Okay, then we have The Breakdown. This one I'm gonna put good but wanted more. This one was like about, it was kind of like an amnesia type of domestic thriller story where the girl starts like forgetting things that she's doing, but like things are moving around the house and she doesn't know if it's her or if she's going crazy, you know, that type of story. It's like, it was good. It could have been better though. Next we have It's Always the Husband. This one I'm also gonna put as, oh, I don't know where to put this. This is one I read back like in the beginning. I think I'm just gonna put it in good but wanted more because I don't remember much about it. I remember liking it when I read it, but that was when I was a thriller noob, so who knows what I would rate it now. So I'm just gonna put it in good. Like it wasn't terrible, but I definitely think like Michelle Campbell, her thrillers are definitely not super like twisty turny. I kind of just read her books because I like her writing style. Next up, Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeny. Love this book, so good. Again, one that I binged all in one day. Is so good. Another amnesia, like domestic thriller. I think we're seeing a pattern here, you guys. Loved it so much. This girl is in a coma, but she can hear like what her husband is like talking about, and yeah, like is he lying? What's going on? Loved it so much. Okay, One of Us is Lying. This one was just like kind of boring, nothing new. It was just a YA thriller about like these students in school. One of them dies and they're trying to figure out how he got murdered. It was okay. It wasn't that great. House at the Bottom of the Lake. This one was good but wanted more. This one was definitely creepy. It was a short story. It would have been better. It was definitely like super ambiguous at the ending. And so I didn't quite understand what was going on, but it was okay. It was okay. If you like those like weird type of books, then you might want to read that one. Okay, Final Girls by Riley Sager. That one's in my favorites. I loved it. It was my first Riley Sager that I read. I love his writing style. I thought that he did a really good job writing that one. It's like a slasher type of thriller book about like the last final girls. Like this whole like big murder thing happened. I think it might have been, it wasn't at a camp, it was like out like in a cabin or something like that. And this girl, like she's trying to like move on like from her history. Gosh, I have so many books left. We need to go faster at this. Okay, Still House Lake by Rachel Kane. That is in one of my favorites. Love it so much. It's so creepy. It's about this husband who's a serial killer, and the wife didn't know it until like he gets like in trouble for having like a dead girl inside their garage, and then he is chasing the wife like all over the country. Oh, so scary. The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter. This one was just good. I wanted more from it. I don't remember much about it. I know it's like a crime thriller, but I just remember it not being as good as Pretty Girls. The Child Finder. This one was just boring, nothing new. This is about a child that goes missing and is like surviving out in the woods with like this kidnapper. It wasn't that great though. The Secrets She Keeps by Michael Robotham.
Okay, I don't know how this happened, but I lost the footage for me talking about The Secrets She Keeps. I put this in solid because I did rate this 5 stars. It was another domestic thriller about pregnant women, and I really, really enjoyed it and loved it. But I just felt like I couldn't put it into my favorites because I don't remember all of the story. It also looks like I missed The Stranger in the House, but this one I'm just putting in don't remember because I literally don't remember anything about this Shari Lapena book. And I feel like that happens a lot when I read her books.
The Last Mrs Parish. This is definitely in my top favorites. Love this book. It's a domestic thriller about 2 ladies, one who doesn't really have anything, one that has like everything, and the one that doesn't have anything wants to become the one. Like literally starts changing her, like the way that she looks and acts just to be like this other woman. Pretty good. The Wife Between Us, don't remember like a lot of it. I feel like these ones are just like okay. I usually rate them like 4 stars, like the Greer Hendricks, but I don't remember much of it, so I'm gonna put it in good but wanted more from that one. It was a domestic thriller. I remember there being like something crazy at the end, but I was like left just like wanting more. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I would say that this one was pretty solid. This one, I don't remember much about the whole story, but I definitely remember like a lot of the end bits, so I can't really talk about that part because they would be spoilers. But I remember like being just like kind of really upset about the ending and like what was happening. It was pretty dark actually. All of the Beautiful Lies by Peter Swanson. This one was good. I liked it more for the forbidden romance parts in it because it has a couple different forbidden romances, like an older guy, a younger girl, older woman, younger guy, that type of thing. So that's why I liked it. The thriller aspect of it was not that great. Baby Teeth, just bad. The child in this book, number 1, this book is not horror. Number 2, the child in this book is such a brat. I could not stand reading about the child. No Exit, one of my all-time favorite books. Love it so, so much. So thrilling, so realistic and real. It's about this college girl that's going home, I think it's like across Colorado, and gets stuck in a snowstorm. She's at this rest stop with no cell phone service with these like, I think it's like 5 other people or something like that. Well, one of them is a kidnapper of a child who's in the back of this van in a dog cage or something. Crazy. Hunting Annabelle, I don't remember that book like at all. I'm sorry. The Perfect Mother, kind of boring, nothing new. This was about a bunch of these mothers, and I think like one of the moms goes missing or a baby goes missing. I don't remember much of it. I just read too many like domestic thrillers all about moms and babies. I think that's my problem. The Other Woman, I did like this. This was pretty solid for me. This is about this male and female that are about to get married, and the like mother-in-law or almost to be mother-in-law is being really, really mean to the wife, or the almost wife or whatever. But I liked it. Her Pretty Face, just bad. Don't even remember much about it. The Cabin at the End of the World, loved it. One of my favorites. The ambiguous ending is so great. It's so scary. I love that book. Bring Me Back was just, it was bad. It was bad. Don't read it. I don't like it. She Was the Quiet One. This one was good. I liked it, but I think a lot of people wouldn't like it because again, it's a Michelle Campbell book. There wasn't anything like super crazy about it. I just really liked the like school vibes to it. I think it was about these like twin girls. One of them's good, one of them's bad. But like the bad girl's trying to like sleep with a teacher. I don't know, I really liked it. Jane Doe, hated it. I really disliked that book a lot. There's so many. We have so many many left. Okay. I Know You. This one was good but wanted more. It kind of reminded me of a knockoff of Big Little Lies. I read it for like a NetGalley review and I was surprised that I liked it so much because I really cared about like the characters and what was happening, but it definitely wasn't as good as Big Little Lies. Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This one is one of my favorites. This is about a like camp mystery, so if you like those types of books you would probably like it, especially if you like Riley Sager's like writing style. His writing style is really good in that one too. Never Have I Ever is also one of my favorites. I know a lot of people don't like that book, but I personally liked it. It did remind me of Big Little Lies. I thought it was really good. I love blackmailing books and that's what it's about. Of course, it's a domestic thriller. Let's just stop being shocked now. The Night Olivia Fell. This one was good, but I definitely wanted more. It was very emotional. It's about this teenage girl who gets pushed off of this bridge and she was pregnant, so she ends up dying and the mom has to take care of the baby. So it's very emotional, but I was left wanting more. The Lies We Told, literally don't remember a thing about that book. An Unwanted Guest, totally just bad. It's so bad. Like, I didn't like that. You should definitely read the guest list. Did I not put the guest list on here? Is the guest list not on my Goodreads? I literally went through my Goodreads shelf. Okay, we'll have to grab the guest list then in a second. My Sister the Serial Killer, solid. Very, very good. This is a like murder mystery serial killer book that's in Nigeria, and it was very good. It reminded me of the documentary Don't F with Cats. Call Me Evie, literally don't even remember it. I remember just not liking it. My Lovely Wife was good, but I wanted more from it. This is about, it's almost like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where like the wife is a serial killer and her husband like helps her with it. An Anonymous Girl, I remember it being boring, but also I don't really remember that much of it. Was it overhyped? I don't know where to put this. I'm gonna say kind of boring, nothing new. It was boring. I thought it was gonna be something new because it's about like these like tests that this girl has to take. Like she has to answer these on the computer, and it like tells you whether you're like a good person or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember much of it. It wasn't that good. Saving Megan. This is gonna go in solid because I was a little upset at the ending, but it was such a good book. I just wish the ending was different. This is about that like Munchausen by proxy syndrome. Love stories about that. So the Stillwater Girls. They're gonna put it in good but wanted more. This is about, it reminds me of The Village, if you've seen that. So these girls are found, like they're like part of this like village thing where like they don't even know the real world exists. So if you like that type of story. Her One Mistake, this one was solid. I remember really liking it. I was just confused because of the points of view going all over the place. But I remember being like pretty shocked at the ending. This is about like someone that loses their child. I feel like all of these thrillers are about like babies or children. The Woman in the Window, I really want to put it on Just Bad, DNF, and Overhyped. I'm gonna leave it into Overhyped, but it was bad. It was on my worst books of 2019. Did not like it. Sleep, that was a DNF. I'm pretty sure I DNF'd it or gave it like 1 star or something like that. Don't remember a thing about it. I remember being bored out of my mind. The One was solid. That's a solid book. I liked it a lot. It was about this blood testing that you took to find out who your partner was. The Woman in the Dark was also, we're gonna say good but wanted more. This is kind of like a horror book, like a haunted house type of book. It was good. I just remember like wanting something to happen, but I don't think anything happened. The Escape Room was bad. That was bad. It was very, very boring. It was about these people that were like trapped in an elevator. It just like ended up being like them in the elevator the whole entire book and nothing happening. A Stranger on the Beach was just kind of boring. I'm gonna put, do I remember it? I kind of remember it. We're gonna put, we'll just put kind of boring, nothing new. Again, Michelle Campbell, like a lot of her books are the same. And that one was kind of like that. The First Mistake by Sandy Jones. I remember liking it, but I don't remember it, honestly. I just read so many domestic thrillers, like, I don't remember much about that one at all. Oh my gosh, I need to stop reading so many thrillers. Careful What You Wish For. This one was just kind of boring. This one, I read it because it kind of had like a Marie Kondo type of vibe. It was about this lady who would go to different houses and like help the wives organize all of their stuff. And then a murder happened, but like it wasn't that great. Dear Wife was literally just bad. It was terrible. It was like a bad version of Gone Girl. Lock Every Door, overhyped. Like, that book was not that great. We're gonna go ahead and just put Home Before Dark in there too, because that one was overhyped and not that good. The Test, solid. This was a short story and it totally reminded me of Black Mirror. It's so good. I don't want to give away the premise because it is so short, but very good. Verity, I am going to say Verity is overhyped because it is. I don't know why so many people love Verity when there are so many other thrillers that are way better in my opinion. I think like I wouldn't say that like Verity is terrible. I think I gave it like 3 stars, but for a thriller, it's not that good in my opinion. Recursion by Blake Crouch. This was good, but I wanted more. It reminded me a lot of Dark Matter, but like the generic brand of it. So yeah, it kind of was almost like Dark Matter. Like the story, just it kind of seemed like a repeat. Turn of the Key, overhyped, trash. Sorry. Turn of the Key is not that good. If you want to read my review on Goodreads, I literally have a list of everything I did not like about that book. The Arrangement, that was, we're gonna say that was bad because it was bad. I liked that it had like a sugar baby, sugar daddy type of vibe to it, but like the thriller part, it was just not that good. Last Summer, this one was good but wanted more. This was another amnesia thriller. A lot of people said that the twist was going to be really good, but I kind of saw the twist coming. But that would be a really good thriller for beginners. The Lost, I really liked this book. I actually am going to put this up in solid because this was like a survival book, but it was a YA. So this is about, I think it's like 5 or 6 kids that go into this like game room building thing or whatever, and they get locked up and tortured. Is very good. The Other Mrs. Miller, this is literally just bad. Didn't like it. The Chain was also very bad. The Wives was good, but I wanted more. I wanted to see more polygamy in it because it's about all of these wives. This guy like goes to different days and like visits different wives. Wanted to see more polygamy. Imaginary Friend was also, but wanted more. It was just a huge book. It didn't have to be that big, but the horror like the horror in it was actually pretty good. It was different than things I've normally read. I Can Be a Better You is actually one of my favorites, putting this up here. I loved it. I thought it was so good. It's about 3 different perspectives and you don't know who is the like crazy person. Someone We Know, literally don't remember. Sherry Lapina, like I don't remember her books. Like I'm sorry, but I just don't. The Passengers by John Mars, overhyped. Definitely overhyped. Mother Knows Best. This one was good, but wanted more. This one was about like this whole science experiment of, again, like infertility. These people wanted to have a baby, but they had to use like these like chromosomes from like other people to like do it, but it was like illegal. It was actually kind of very interesting. Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. This one was like, it was just good. Like, it wasn't mind-blowing or anything. Put that one there. You Are Not Alone. I did not like it. I'm gonna say confusing because there were so many things in it that didn't make sense to me when I was reading it. Dead to Her was just bad. So bad. Behind Every Lie, I'm going to put this one, ooh, I'm gonna put it in, I don't remember much about it and I just read it, but I remember liking it. I don't know. I guess I'll put it in good but wanted more because like Christina McDonald, like she writes good books. Like her writing is very like emotional, and it's usually always about like a mother-daughter relationship, but I usually just don't remember a lot of what she's writing. Oh, 3 more. Well, and the guest list, I forgot about that one. And Darling Rose Gold, like what the heck? What is happening in my Goodreads, people? Okay, What Lies Between Us? This one was solid. That's John Marr's newest book, and it was really good. Definitely about like people that you don't know if you should trust or not. Unwind was also pretty solid. That was a YA book that I read by Neil Shusterman a long time ago, and it's very disturbing. These kids, when they're like between the ages of like 10 and 18 or something like that, they if they're bad, their parents can choose to unwind them, which literally means that they take all their organs out, and that's how they get rid of them. Before I go to sleep is going to be Good But Wanted More. I remember the book kind of just like going on for too long. It's an amnesia story. I think it's a movie too, about this lady who wakes up every day and doesn't remember who she is every single day, which is such like an intriguing topic to me, but it just ended up being boring to me. Okay, so for some reason, we didn't have the guest list and Darling Rose Gold in there, but both of those are in my favorites. So those are at the top. We love those. The guest list is this like murder mystery thing that happens on this like very cool Irish island. The vibes of it are just absolutely amazing. And then Darling Rose Gold is another book about the Munchausen syndrome, and it reminds me of the Gypsy Rose like show and everything, like the act on Hulu. So really, really great. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Who knew that I read so many thrillers in the last like 3 to 4 years? Like, I just cannot believe it. That is absolutely crazy. Let me know down in a comment if you rated these the same way as myself, or if you thought that maybe some of my favorites were bad. Let me know, because I love hearing from you guys. But that's it for this video, so I will see you guys very soon in another video. Bye, everyone.